So can you actually go backpacking with only a carry-on? I'll show you what surprised me about it and tell you the story of how my gear got confiscated by the TSA. Yeah, more on that shortly. And also, I made this awesome little survival kit for traveling, and I'm gonna open this up for you in a little bit. We'll talk about what's inside. But first, here's the thing. You need the perfect backpack to go backpacking with only a carry-on. And I definitely think I found it. But for years, I've used these military backpacks like this. This is made by Fox Tactical. I've had it for years and it's held up really well, but it weighs a ton. It's hard to find things in it, and it's not laid out very well. Or this one. I've hiked over 500 miles of the Ice Age Trail with this pack, and I loved it at the time, but you know what? It's really not comfortable. It's not laid out very well. Yeah, it's modular, but anything that can do everything doesn't do anything well. Those packs aren't really designed with optimal comfort in mind, and that's where this comes in. This is the Outdoor Vitals KOTA UL, and this thing is incredible. This modular backpack was designed from the ground up to be a travel backpack. Not just a carry-on, not just an ultralight backpack, but truly to be both in one pack. It has a really unique look to it, and as you'll see, the features on this thing are extremely unique and very, very well thought out. Empty, the pack only weighs 2 pounds and 13 ounces, so it is an ultra light pack to begin with. Very, very light. Dimensions are 22 by 12 by 10, so it fits really nicely in that overhead compartment, which is critical. The pack is a 45-liter pack with a 37-liter main compartment. And what is absolutely awesome about this pack is it has wonderful zippers. The zippers are YKK zippers, and there's several of them on the main compartment. 1, 2, 3, 4 for one zipper. So what that allows you to do is it allows you to place your zippers wherever you want them and be able to access parts of your bag without opening the entire thing up. So I can get something over here, I can get something in the middle, or I can get into the bottom corner of the bag over here. The laptop pocket on this thing is brilliant because it's actually shifted up from the bottom. So if you put your laptop in it, it's padded and you can set your bag down roughly and it won't hit your laptop. So I've actually crunched the corners of my laptops before setting my bag down because the pocket went all the way to the bottom. So brilliant on their part to shift that pocket upwards. Before we get into the interior specs, I want to show you some more stuff on the outside. So it's got really nice perforated EVA foam shoulder straps and a hip belt that stows away. The hip belt actually tucks in underneath here. It's got load lifters up here, which is something you see on real backpacks. Why? Because it really makes a huge difference being able to shift the weight up over your shoulders and get it off of your hips. So for like small day trips and overnight stuff, I like to take a little half-liter Nalgene like this, and then I have a collapsible water bottle in my pack as well, which gives me 1.5 liters of water capacity. Their water bottle pockets are awesome because they actually have this mesh right here which keeps a little bit of tension on a full water bottle when it's in there. So if you have a really tall water bottle, this mesh actually helps hold that in place. It doesn't just flop around so you don't lose stuff. So if you need to strap on any additional gear, it has some accessory loops and it has some like cargo straps that come with the pack that you can use to strap on a bedroll or what have you. Probably one of the coolest features is it has 4 grab handles, so no matter which way you grab this pack, you're gonna grab a handle. Every single side of the pack has these nice, easily accessible handles. This pack actually feels expensive. The zippers feel very nice, the fabric feels very nice, the fit is great. It feels comfortable to wear. I was wearing it in 90-degree heat out in Colorado last week, and you know what? It was very comfortable. Now for the fun part, the inside of this pack is, in my opinion, where a lot of the genius comes in. First of all, and probably most importantly to me, the inside of the pack is white. So you get this really high contrast look. You can quickly find things inside of your pack, whether it's at night or during the day. If you have a completely blacked out backpack like the ones I used to use a lot, that is maddening to try to find things in, especially if you have like a black knife inside of a black backpack. So having this really high contrast material just really bounces the light up and you can see everything you need to see. What's really cool is they have these little internal compression straps, and if you take those apart, you get a little bit more depth out of your backpack. If you engage them, it kind of makes it shorter. So if you have like just you're going on a day hike, you don't need to take a sleeping bag and all this stuff, you can actually make your pack smaller and get it closer to your body, which is absolutely brilliant. Because if you have a lot of weight away from your body, then it's swinging around and it wears you out so much faster. The wonderful thing about this backpack is that it's very low profile. So even though it's a 47-liter pack, it's all up against your body and it's very tall. So it distributes the weight really, really well. So on the inside of the pack, they have these really wonderful mesh pockets that go 2/3 the length of the actual backpack, and they're really, really strong. They accommodate a lot of bulk. So you can shove a tripod in there, or you can even put your hiking poles inside of them. And that's where I went wrong. I packed one hiking pole in my pack, the other one of these for my trip. And I flew out to Colorado with no issue, went through security, no problems whatsoever. In fact, I've traveled with these poles many, many, many times. I've had these for years now, and no issues. But on the way back, TSA pulled my bag aside and interrogated me about my hiking poles. They were asking me if my poles lit up, if it had lights inside of it, because it had wires inside and they didn't like the wires, which I thought was interesting because I think a lot of hiking poles have the cable inside. And I explained to them that it's just a regular old hiking stick. Well, they said, well, according to TSA guidelines, you cannot have hiking poles in your carry-on luggage in a plane. But it is up to the agent in charge whether or not you're allowed to keep them. And apparently this guy was not about it. So he said, is it okay if you forfeit this today? And I said, well, not really, but what choice do I have? And he's like, you don't really have a choice. So I said, okay, well, I guess I'm forfeiting my favorite hiking pole. Thanks a lot. It's my fault because it does say clearly in the rules that you're not allowed to take hiking poles in the main cabin of an aircraft. So that's my fault. However, 2 minutes after I get through security, I see this guy walking around on the sterile side of the airport with his hiking pole. And I just couldn't understand why he was able to get through and why I was not. And I think it really does come down to if you need it for mobility reasons. So this gentleman had a little bit of a limp and he was walking with a little bit of a limp. So I think they maybe let him take that because it was clearly used for mobility, sort of like a cane would be. So I guess if you want to risk it, take that hiking pole out, maybe just walk with a limp through security and see if they'll let you keep your hiking pole. It's interesting that they don't have an issue with tripods, you know? A lot of tripods have pointed feet on them, or you can unscrew them to get to the pointed feet, which is mechanically the same as a hiking pole and could be used just as effectively as a weapon. But whatever, you know? They're just trying to keep people safe. I get it. I had two other items with me that didn't draw any attention, which did surprise me a little bit, was my leash of tools. So I have this little Mingarista retractable EDC lanyard. It's a little cable lanyard. Very robust, very strong, but lightweight. I love this thing because I can put all of my really important gear on it, like my car keys and my GPS, and this thing, which I made for this trip. I made this little EDC leash. This is a little tool leash that I made out of paracord and some snake knots. Basically just kind of a fancy little clip that I got for free from somewhere, I think. It's a Gear Aid clip. I think you can turn this thing around so you can hang it up on something if you wanted to for some reason. I haven't really found a practical reason to use it for that yet, but I also have this pen, which is cool. It's a little telescopic pen made by True Utility. It's a really good pen, actually. So great for micro EDC, and it just snaps right back in there. I have a little nano light by Streamlight. This thing is really handy. It's just like a little 50 lumen light, and great for just looking through your bag in the middle of the night if you need to. Super small, just twist it to turn it on. Last, I have a Gerber shard. And this thing is, it's not a knife, so it's technically TSA compliant. It's got a little Phillips on it. It's got a flat-bladed screwdriver, can opener, a little pry bar on it, and I have put an edge on this so that it could be used to cut open a box if I needed to. So anyway, there's a little leash. They didn't give me any trouble about this at all. Went through 2 security checkpoints. But they took my hiking pole. I'm a little salty about that. The other item that I was a little surprised they didn't question me on was my survival kit. I made this little TSA compliant travel kit. So what's inside of this thing? Let's check it out. Let's look inside of this thing, and then we'll get back to the backpack. I think everybody should make one of these. It's very practical. First of all, bags. You want Ziploc bags, at least a couple of them with you. So keep those in good shape because they're gonna keep the water from getting into your kit, and also you can use them as a water storage device if you needed to. So 2 Ziploc bags, 25 feet of bank line, a couple packets of Advil and sting relief pads, chapstick for your lips, but also because you can start a fire with it. Button compass. Even though I don't like button compasses, it's small, it's cheap, throw it in here. It's at least something. A sewing kit like this has little safety pins. You can use them as hooks for fishing. You can sew up some broken gear, maybe even suture yourself if you had to. So I have a ferro rod with Gorilla Tape wrapped around it. This is TSA compliant because it is a solid fuel and you can bring it into the main compartment of an airplane. Just don't try to use it. I have water purification tabs and a couple of compressed towels. So these, if you get them wet, they turn into a towel. That's handy for just hygiene, basic cleanup. You can pre-filter some nasty water through these compressed towels if you need to. And I have some aqua tabs for water purification. This is an emergency poncho with a reflective mylar inner lining, so it keeps your body heat in. It's very, very effective. And I have a couple of 1-gallon oven bags inside, which you can use to bring water back to camp and catch rain or whatever you need to. You can make a transpiration bag out of this for gathering water from trees in the sun. This kit weighs about 8 ounces and it'll give you shelter, fire, water, a little bit of medical. So I like to couple this with this titanium cup. So there you go. This is a rock solid ultralight survival kit that you can take with you anywhere. Really, no excuse not to. This titanium cup is by Silver Ant. I absolutely adore this cup. This cup is absolutely bulletproof. It weighs almost nothing. So for water, I have that half-liter Nalgene on the outside that I always take with me. And then I have this 1-liter collapsible vapor water bladder thing. And I really like this as well. So you can collapse this down if you don't need it. To get through security, and then, you know, fill it up when you're through or when you're ready to go out on your hike or your adventure. Why'd I say it like that? Hey dear, we're gonna have an adventure now. This front pocket is really great because it's got some really nice stretchy interior zippable compartments so you can shove stuff in there. This is the brain part of the backpack. The top is really nice. Put your snacks in here. Again, stretchy material with zippers. Really nice zippers that do not snag. And this compartment right here has utility loops in it. So you can attach like your lanyard with your keys. It has a little security tether right here, so you don't have to have this retractable one like I have. So obviously you want to vary your loadout depending on what you're doing, whether you need a hammock, a tent, you know, you get your first aid kit, you got your clothing. Outdoor Vitals also has this really, really nice travel cube system. It has like a little ditty bag that is phenomenal. It's extremely lightweight, very strong. You want to have gear that you enjoy using, and this is definitely gear that I love using. This is a compression sack that is actually really nice. It feels really, really well made. And it is waterproof, so you don't have to worry about your clothes getting wet when you set this down in some dewy grass or something like that. So if you need some really practical organization that's ultra light, definitely check out that little travel kit from Outdoor Vitals. I'm telling you, they're crushing it with their gear lately. It's awesome. So can you do ultralight backpacking with only a carry-on? The answer for me is no. You're probably surprised to hear that after watching this video. Because of my knees and how many surgeries I've had on my knees, it's a must that I carry hiking pole, at least one hiking pole with me, if not 2. So because I have to have that, it's a deal breaker if I don't. I have to check a bag now. I mean, I have to at least check my hiking poles no matter where I go. And that really bugs me because it's gonna slow me down and it's very disappointing. But until the TSA changes their rules on hiking poles, I'm gonna have to check a bag for my extremely dangerous hiking poles. But with a bag like this, you can fit everything you need for a short backpacking trip in it, besides the hiking poles, and have a really great time and be comfortable doing it, which is really awesome because you can actually enjoy the experience. So please use the link below in the description if you want to check out anything from Outdoor Vitals. Why? Because it won't cost you anything more if you end up ordering from Outdoor Vitals, but it does help the channel out. So I hope that gave you some ideas for gear, packing, or maybe some inspiration for your next adventure. If you haven't checked out this video yet, definitely check it out because I think you'll like it.